What's up, Windwalkers, and welcome to my Mythic Nexus King guide for Manaforge Omega. I've decided to try and do these guides a little differently this time around, where I actually look back in retrospect and go through each aspect of the fight, from talents and gear, all the way to how each of the hero talents play out during the fight, and my thoughts on all of it. The video will be split into two parts. The first part will be the analysis and discussion of the encounter, and the second half will be a clean run through of the whole fight. This will be the structure of all these boss guides, and I think this makes it easier for you to see the encounter with a commentated discussion, as well as the option to watch the fight without interruptions. As with all of these guides, you can find the talent builds I recommend in the description, as well as the BIS Trinkets and timeline reminders for the relevant hero talent. Cool! I hope this style of video works well, and the analysis helps you with either getting your first takedown, or just getting a nice juicy pass. Anyway, let's get to it. Nexus King Salhadaar. Okay. So, this is the one of two fights where I actually run 1 minute 30 SHADOPAN, and I think it's better. And the reason for this, it all comes down to cooldown timings, right? And the same for Conduit, but you play that 1 minute 30 anyway, right? So, timeline's important for this for a multitude of reasons, in the fact that you're looking to get your cooldowns on this platform, and you're looking to get your cooldowns during the damage amp. These are the two most important points in the fight where you need cooldowns. By playing 1 minute 30, you manage to do this, right? You pop on pull, because damage to the boss is also important, but you know, it's actually more important to do damage to the dragon. Obviously, the boss needs to take damage here, but this is actually probably the weakest part of the fight for Windwalker. A lot of melee in general, a lot of characters in general. There's so much movement, so much things you actually have to do to get around, avoid mechanics, stuff like that. This is hell on earth. So the reason you have to pop here at 1 minute 30 is because you need it back up during the ads, right? So delaying it's not really an option. The biggest issue with popping at 1 minute 30 on this fight is the subjugation rule combination. It lines up exactly with your 1 minute 30 cooldowns. When I tell you this feels like the worst set of cooldowns I've ever sent in my entire life on any prog boss. It is. Because during a set of cooldowns, when you want to be hitting the boss and getting your rotation right and doing everything perfectly, you have to dodge lasers flying through the sky. You have to make sure you're soaking on a tank who might not be near the boss at the time, but you have to get in, otherwise you're dead, and, you know, GG, go again. So, regardless of how bad this overlap is, you have to send at 130, otherwise you're screwing yourself on the platforms, and then you're screwing yourself in the amp, because by delaying it here, you're delaying it here, you're delaying it here, you get less damage overall, right? So 130 send is really important, just like sending at about 3 minutes is super important on the platforms, because you have to send at 3 minutes to then get your cooldowns back up at 430, which isn't even the start of the amp, by the way, but you still get the full window of cooldowns. So, in my opinion, this is the worst set of cooldowns. Sometimes it's not too bad. If you get the soak circle first, like, because you can even get the soak circle first or third with how people play this boss. If you get it first, it's actually more beneficial because you move out quickly, the boss jumps towards you, and then you get a good amount of cooldowns. If you get it third, you get to hit the boss a bit earlier on, but then you have to move off the boss during like a big portion of it, and you've got all the lasers coming through at that point. It's horrible, but you have to deal with it. So there's this thing called Blessing of Autumn that paladins can give you. And I'm not saying you need Blessing of Autumn to kill this boss. You don't. I didn't get Blessing of Autumn. I killed the boss, right? It's possible. Blessing of Autumn reduces Zuen's cooldown by about 10 seconds. It's like 30% or something for a period of time. Essentially, you get to pop your cooldowns at 1 minute 20. The big benefit to doing this and convincing your paladin is that by being able to pop your cooldowns at 1 minute 20, you, for the most part, you avoid this entire, like, popping your cooldowns during this horrible overlap. So you get a really nice cooldown set here. At least, like, 10 seconds are free. If you get the soak third as well, essentially the entirety of this, you get 3 cooldowns, whatever, and you get a really nice send out. Not only this, but it means that your first win on the platforms are moved up 10 seconds earlier, which is roughly when you land, like, more or less. It's about here rather than here. So suddenly you spawn, you land on the platform, send out all your cooldowns, happy days. It's perfectly fine to send them out at 3 minutes, but, you know, it's halfway through the platform, and you don't have to send out a extra Storm, Earth, and Fire here. I just thought this was better to do the double, otherwise you're holding Storm, Earth, and Fires for, like, really long periods of time. which can be useful if you're saving for the damage amp, but this was a re-kill, so I didn't. Or this was our second takedown. And then, as well as that, by getting that one Blessing of Autumn, you get to send out your cooldowns immediately on the damage amp, which then in turn means you get them a little bit earlier here, but you'd actually delay them anyway here because of how the mechanics work out and stuff like that. So the TLDR of it is, although you don't need it, by getting a Paladin to give you Blessing of Autumn and being able to send out cooldowns literally just 10 seconds earlier, that's it for the entirety of the fight. Like, one Blessing of Autumn is all you need. It kind of changes how horrible the P1 set of cooldowns are, and it makes every set of cooldowns after that for the two important parts of the fight, the platform and the damage amp, just so much smoother, right? You can see how I've offset cooldowns here, right? I have to Storm Earth and Fire, then Zuin like midway through this, and then pop Storm Earth and Fire again halfway through my Zuin, or a little bit after my Zuin, I guess. It's just really awkward. And it's the same for Conduit, right? Let's say you want to play Conduit, 1 minute 30, it works the exact same way, right? You get your cooldowns earlier, you know, so on and so forth. Bob's your uncle, that sort of jazz. So that's why I wanted to bring up the timeline here. As well as this, with the timeline, you can see there's no defensive set for the start, except for here and here. That doesn't mean I don't press defensives during this fight. Defensives for P1 Nexus King are, in my opinion, reactive defensives, where you only pop them if you get banishment. Your healers should be able to keep you alive through Behead, and they should be able to keep you alive through the Subjugation rule. If you go into one of these with like half health or something, then yes, probably pop a defensive or, you know, use a health pot or something like that. But realistically, you can get away with just popping on banishment. That's the big one that will catch your healers out and stuff, because there's a massive tick before these mechanics come in, and you can just get popped by this. Our defense is really good for banishment. In fact, I actually preferred getting banishment than getting Behead during this fight, because I just knew, oh, pop Diffuse Magic, I'm absolutely fine. Pop Fortifying Brew, I'm fine. And you don't get this mechanic. You can't get both of these mechanics at the same time. And then you can see, like, defenses get more structured at the end of the fight, because eventually it's just a pop defensive when the Galactic Smash comes in, if you're targeted with it. If you're not, then pop it if you get this mechanic over here or when it's necessary. But you have to make sure you have a defensive lined up for every Galactic Smash on the off chance you get it. You don't have a defensive for Galactic Smash, you're dead. It's just is what it is. You will just get one shot. Oh yeah, I didn't talk about trinkets, but quickly, I would run Netherprism here for both Conduit and SHADOPAN. The big reason for this is that although a Raz Ritual Forge is good, being able to Netherprism, this is such a long fight, right? This is like a 7-minute fight, regardless of even faster kill times and stuff like that. And having good damage amps, Netherprism is really strong. Like, a Raz is good on the pull for SHADOPAN, but Netherprism gets so many actual uses of it throughout the fight that it just becomes better, due to its long duration and the fact that it's a constant agility buff for the entire time. Same with Conduit, right? You'll do weaker on pull, but you'll do a really strong damage amp. Real strong platforms, stuff like that. So I actually think Netherprism is the trinket for this one. Antenna's okay as well in this fight. The issue is there's so much movement that Antenna, you don't always get all your orbs. It is a little bit annoying, but the alternative is like a pacemaker, and I just didn't have a good one, so it's what it is. So on pull, I do pop Karma here, and it's because the only other time I want to pop Karma realistically is during that Subjugation rule, the tank combo situation that we talked about, the final one in the phase, because it is actually really terrifying to do. So I always hated getting Conquer third. I feel like it's awkward. You can see why, right? Everybody's moving. I'm being a little bit greedy here. But a lot of the time, like, you can't really be that greedy. Like, a lot of the time you do have to move off of it. We got lucky lines there, so I could be a little bit greedier and hit the boss. But sometimes you just have to move out, and you've got downtime on the boss for upwards of like 5-6 seconds. Get this mechanic. The idea is not to move. I actually had a countdown here a lot of the time that used to tell me not to roll, because although you can roll to get yourself out of the way with the claws, a lot of the times it would like catch players out. Like, if you rolled in a direction, like, someone would be like, oh shit, this guy's fucking rolled on me, and start like panicking or whatnot. Personally, I think it's okay if you roll into an area that's not bad, but it's generally just safer to stand still. It's also worth mentioning, I will go back, that we are going to talk about a lot of stuff here. It's worth mentioning that I Soothing Mist as my defensive for every single mechanic that comes out in P1. So I should do it here as well. If we go back to the soak, you can see I press Soothing Mist, bottom of the screen here. This is because we said no defensives during these mechanics, right? Like you need defensives for the banishment because you can get like banish. You could potentially get 3 banishments in P1. Very unlikely, possible. If it happens, no defensive. Good luck, bozo. The externals are for tanks at this point because they have to solo soak and it hits like a truck. So I ran Soothing Mist, and it's the one time in this raid when I actually ran Soothing Mist and Elusive Mists. I didn't really use it for Elusive Mists, which is the Vivify. I used it mostly just for the 6% DR. It's not much, but it helped sometimes with this, just take a little bit less damage, because these things hit like a truck. And the moment it came in, I just hit it just before, and then I'd move out again. And I think I got a lot of value from this, just for staying alive. It did help a lot. So yeah, back into the fight. I only send one Storm Earth and Fire here. I'm holding the second Storm Earth and Fire. I'm going to send it out when I'm about 20 stacks of Lightning in a sec. No, am I? No, I'm not. Yeah, I am. No, I'm not. Yeah, I am. I forget what I decided on in the end, I'll be honest. Ghosts. Fucking hate them. Worst thing ever made. No, I don't send it out. I basically, okay. So sometimes I did send it out, sometimes I didn't. I was trying to remember what I decided on in the end. It's because I'm doing the double on the platform. So you're going to see Storm Earth and Fire stack up twice here for a while until we get to 1 minute 30. It's just so that I could allow myself the double on the platform. That's why. Sometimes when I was saving 2 for the damage amp, I'd send my second Storm Earth and Fire out here. Because it's a safe period in the fight, in quotation marks. 20 stack Lightning, and then I'll have 2 Storm Earth and Fires back up for the damage amp without much loss on time. So because I switched out and sent 2 on the platform, I didn't send out here, and I just took the L. So I loved Conquers straight off the bat because it meant that. So one, it means that look, he jumps straight into you, and then you can get good uptime as a melee. Conquers on the third always suck. You can't decide; it is what it is. But I love them on this one because it meant I could actually hit the boss without having to be a melon. And you can see once again, this hits everybody like an absolute truck. We have a Spirit Link here. I have 6% DR in myself. Like these are terrifying, but no defenses are popped because we learned that as long as your healer has the right cooldown for this, no one should die. Right? Like, and that's why I just Soothing Mist here, because at least it's something to help protect myself. Because sometimes you do just die there. Maybe someone's outside the Spirit Link or something, just slightly. So just that extra health just made a big difference, and it was just the one thing I could always send on that without having to lose too much. So it's just dodging lines and stuff. Watching this back, it looks so easy. Yeah, it's not. Cool, I did get the big dot. So you can see I got the big dot on me. 6 seconds. I could have cast Diffuse or I could have cast Fortifying. I choose to cast Fortifying first here. And it's for the reason that I want it on the platforms as soon as possible. Because you can still get another dot coming up after this. I'm pretty sure anyway. I think there's another dot that can come out at one point. Maybe not. Either way, I always Fortifying first between these two. Because even if I didn't get another one, I usually press Diffuse Magic when he does the final smash, along with a touch of Karma. Just because the last smash always seemed to be the most dangerous. It didn't really make sense why, because we had healing cooldowns there, but it always just hit the hardest. Even with like a Soothing Mist or something, I had these 2 defenses potentially, sometimes even one. I always had the Karma because I allowed myself to have the Karma. But I knew that by popping them both there, I'd always have them up for the platform when I wanted them anyway. So it made sense to pop Diffuse and Karma there when possible, just Karma if I didn't have Diffuse. Always Fortifying Brew first when I got the Banishment, because I'd always have it on the platform by the time the last Banishment came out in the fight. So yeah, then you just kind of play it around the room again. You're trying to avoid the middle with these claws. We do quite a good job on this pull. Like, there's a couple in the middle, but they're not egregious, right? And then the ghosts come in. I don't know. There's not much I can really tell you about these ghosts other than I had a nightmare with them. Like, there's loads of different things you can try to spot them. It was never the 1 or the 2. It was always the 3 that caught a lot of people out, including myself. I got caught out by these ghosts all the time. We had strats where you rolled out as melee, moved out as melee, and looked at the ghosts and didn't hit anything. Sometimes it worked. Sometimes I'd get... Right. A little bit of a gripe here. Mages need to be banned from casting... Oh, what's the ability? You know when they... Oh, what's it called? When they start glowing. They start glowing white. Believe it or not, it looks exactly like a ghost spawn. So if you move out to the left-hand side and stand behind the mages, and then you start pressing... No, it's not evocation. We'll see it in a sec. But you see what I mean. You see what I mean? And it caught me out so many times early on. Eventually, like, I got really good at doing the ghosts, as you'd expect, 200 pulls in. Right, I need to go back, because I popped cooldowns here. No matter what, the moment Zuin's up, send. No matter what happens in the ordering, I got lucky here, I got Conquer first. this is preferred. If I got Conquer third, I still send. I have to send the moment Zuin's up because I need it to line up with the amp and the platforms. So send it out, and we run into the soak. You can see already I've lost 3-4 seconds of boss uptime because that's just how it is. Had to send the cooldowns out, doesn't fucking matter. But then I actually get quite lucky here because it jumps quite early and I send out. So I'm actually able to get a lot of uptime on the boss here. Sometimes it plays out like this, sometimes it doesn't. It's just which order you get it in, right? It is genuinely just luck of the draw. Sometimes it sucks, sometimes it doesn't. So look at the ghosts. It's that. Whatever the mages are casting here, I forget the name. But like sometimes you'd be positioned over here like an early prog to look at the ghosts and make sure you hit them. And these guys would start flashing white. And we had like we had 4 of them, right? And you've got to spot these 3 ghosts while there are 4 mages casting this stupid ability that makes them look exactly like a ghost. Shifting power. It was the shifting power animation because we all ran the inky black pots. And so like it might not look like it so much here, but like in the heat of the moment, these guys just look like ghosts. But yeah, eventually you manage to get through it. Right, little tidbit here for a tiny little bit of extra damage. You really don't have to do this. But you can essentially run onto this black hole. It looks bad. It looks like it's dealing damage to you. It's not. It's fake news. And then I'd love to put Transcendence down and then roll out, and then it pops Transcendent whilst you get knocked back instantly on the boss. It's such a small thing. You really don't have to do that, but I really like doing it because it just allows me to get back on the boss a little bit faster, and also get to hit it whilst it's doing the ramp up to it. But what, you're saving like 4 seconds of uptime or something? It's not necessary, right? Just a little tip you can do. The black circle does not hurt. So you can see we're building up Netherprism stacks. The one good thing about Netherprism, I should have mentioned it before, when I sent those 1 minute 30 cooldowns, because they essentially always were 50-50 for me whether I did damage or not, because of the lineups of what the tank abilities were, I never sent Netherprism there, because let's say I sent it there, and I get the bad combo, and I get like 7 seconds of uptime on my cooldowns, like 7 to 10 seconds, I've lost like a big Netherprism, and I've done like no damage with it. I felt that it was stronger at this point to stack my Netherprism up for the platforms and get the platforms done faster so we can come down and hit the boss faster. Because this boss is scripted. Like, no matter how fast you down the platforms, the boss doesn't phase faster. It's on a set timer. So if you do your platform really quickly, you come back down, hit the boss. You do more boss damage. Alternatively, a lot of players will send their Netherprism here at the 130 and then hold it on the platform and then come back down and send it at 18 stacks or whatever on the amp. This is also good. You can do it either way. As I said before, it really depends what your guild is looking for, what you need the most of. Are you having problems with platforms, problems with the amp? Realistically, we did not have many problems with the amp. We might have done initially on the initial prog, but at this point, we've got the buff. We've all got extra gear. It wasn't necessary to really have like a massive amp damage, but I still had like, it was just a few less stacks on the Netherprism is all really. Interesting one. So you stand on the group. I learned the hard way. Don't be on the outskirts here. We marked our tanks usually, and I always just on top of my tank. So if you have the lines, so this is random. The first beam will always be whatever it was then. It won't hit you as long as you're grouped up here. Next beam will either go out or in. If it goes out, you have to run in. And then it will go in, and then you portal out. If it goes in, you stand here and do nothing, hit the boss, and then when it comes out, you portal in. Whatever rotation this one was, the one when you come back before the damage amp is the opposite rotation. So I know for a fact that when we come back down after the platforms, this starts as an innie and ends as an outie. Because it started as an outie and ends as an innie. A little bit slow there, could have Flying Serpent kicked, and I'm saving my lightning. You can see 20 stack lightning, predominantly because I'm doing no damage here anyway, I'm barely hitting the boss. Also, I want my 20 stacker for the platform. As well as that, I actually save my Tiger Palm, because I know that I'm about to hit a Flurry Strikes. A little bit greedy on damage here. So I wait a little bit, I wait a sec, tank get aggro. I Netherprism early here. I think this played out better. Mostly because I wanted to get the full value from the lightning. So I could have Netherprismed when I send out Zuin, but by that point, a lot of the ads are dead. It might not be the same on your prog, because it might take longer to do the platforms, practicing, learning the platforms, yada, yada, yada. But because we've done the platform so many times, I decided Netherprism, Storm Earth and Fire, send out Flurry Strikes, Crackling Jade Lightning, and suddenly I'm on the meters. Suddenly I do damage. And now it's just basically like a weave sort of thing. So this is what I was talking about with Fortifying Brew. My Fortifying Brew came back off of cooldown by the time I get to the platform. That's why I always popped it first. I get the mechanic, and then I pop Fortifying Brew. So get the mechanic, Fortifying Brew, and as a melee, you don't have to go out that far. Think of Kaiveza. As long as you're behind this next ad, you have to have it go through the middle. As long as you're just behind it, that's fine. And then you go straight back in. Don't stay out. You need to hit this as much as possible. So you stack all up, and then roll out. And meanwhile, while this has been going on, I sent out Zuin. Don't even remember doing it. And then you send out the second Storm Earth and Fire, because that's just the way I was playing this fight. Right. The leg sweep. This was really important. I don't know how important it's going to be in the future, but these Reapers do an ability called Reap, right? And we had the one healer platform, and if the healer could keep us up, and I have this in quotes because they told me, we lived or died on this platform based on if I could leg sweep these Reapers at the exact perfect time. Because it means by doing it at the exact perfect time, you delay their cast, and they actually die before they do the next reap, or it desyncs them or something. It fucks them up. TLDR. Is it? So I had a note that said leg sweep here that always reminded me of the leg sweep, but the timer for the leg sweep is not real. I set a countdown for reap, and the moment it hits 1 second, that's when you leg sweep. It has to be about 1. Like 2 is a little bit too early. They don't get delayed how you want them to. So I actually stopped kind of doing things here. Like it gets to 2, 1, leg sweep. The moment the timer hits 1, and I hit all of them. Did I hit that one? Yeah, hit all of them, and it just screws them. It doesn't have to be a leg sweep, but it's because they go into this mechanic afterwards. That's why. It's because the Reapers are the ones that do the reap, and it does massive damage to everybody. Like they pick a target and hit them really hard, but you delay them enough that they go into the Twilight Massacre. So it doesn't have to be you that does leg sweep. It could be a Demon Hunter that does shit, whatever that ability is that Demon Hunters do. But someone ideally does this, and it delays their ability, which means you can see how healthy our platform is. No one's taking damage because you can essentially avoid a mechanic by timing it perfectly, but it has to be at 1 second to allow it to be long enough for them to dodge it. And by the time they finish Twilight Massacre, they're essentially all dead, right? So yeah, that's a bit of tech. Doesn't have to be the Windwalker that does it, but you can see I just got Reap there, right? And it hits like a truck. You imagine having to have that at the same time as the overlap with the Twilight. People just drop. So someone has to do that. So we finish our platform really quickly. And what does that mean? We're back on the boss really quick, right? So we're because it's scripted, being back on the platform, being off the platform early is not a bad thing. It means that you get to do damage to the boss faster, which is a good thing. And you always want to try target the Void Wing. It's more important that you do Void Wing damage than Salhadaar damage here. Obviously, you're cleaving off of Salhadaar, but Void Wing is primary target damage. So we knew that the first one was an innie because the last set had the outie first, and then we all portal back in. And now it is damage amp time. So I have a 20-sec lightning here. I'm holding it for the damage amp. So we send pots, and then we send stuff. And you see the issue here is that essentially I don't have cooldowns. And this is what I mean by Blessing of Awesome. It's not the end of the world because it's such a long cast. But I don't get to send cooldowns on this thing until 20, 24 seconds in, 20 seconds even. So I'm holding the other prism for a little bit longer. And then we finally send everything, and then just do big damage. And it's good. I think SHADOPAN's pretty good here. If you have a higher stack Netherprism, you'll obviously do more damage. But even with what did I have, a 10 stacker or something? That's still a loss of agility for the entirety of this King's Hunger. So you do absolutely pump on this thing. It's worth mentioning that during the amp, I pop Fortifying Brew. Important to do this. You can do this at any point, really, but I try to do it earlier rather than later, about midway through, because it's really hard for healers, this part as well, right? It is a damage amp. They have Lust, but it still hits like a truck. Healers are doing God's work here. So you Fortify and Brew at one point, and then as these things come in, I have a Karma ready for it, because these things hurt. On their own, they don't, but sometimes you get overlaps, right? And it's kind of hard to see. So you can see some overlaps here. You can see overlaps underneath the boss. Even if you get hit by just 2, you pretty much die. No one died there, but you can see my Karma pretty much got completely eaten. So I was lucky I only got hit by 1, but if you get hit by 2, it hits like a truck, and if you don't have defensive, you get 1 shot. So now P3. It's an interesting one. So you can see my defensive timers are coming out. I don't press them. It's only if I get the smash. I do get the smash during this POV, so we'll talk about when I get there. But it means now I have a diffuse magic in the bag for something else. So we tried a lot of things with these rings. We tried counting down, you know, raid leader counts down, tells you to cross over. And we found that the best thing to do was the advice of just cross when you feel comfortable crossing. And it sounds kind of scary, right? Like, I have to make that decision to cross. But when you have a raid leader counting down, Discord's slightly delayed by however much time, maybe you don't feel like you're in the perfect position to cross over when they call it, but you feel forced to because they called it. It actually made our success rate of surviving these rings like so much higher, like dramatically higher, because it was just when you feel comfortable, cross them. You don't feel comfortable, wait. There's no rush as long as you don't die crossing. That was all that mattered. So really useful advice. It might not work for everybody, but we just had when you're comfortable, cross, and that's what we did. We just crossed when we felt comfortable. So now we're going to talk about baits. Here I added a cooldown. So we talked about this at the start, and it's the Starkiller Swing baits. The boss will always spawn them in front of himself, or like he does, right? We'll see it. No, it's behind himself. So he always summons 3 of them like in a triangle sort of figure, but it's where his back was facing at the time, I'm pretty sure, because you always face him towards the stars. And he'll summon them in a triangle. 1 always goes on the tank, 2 will go on the closest DPS players. To our understanding, that was how it worked, and I never got the mechanic on purpose by not standing near them, so I'm pretty confident that's how it works. Like, to a degree, you could bait them. Because I had done it once on prog, we had players that had done this 20, 30 times, knew exactly, like, super confident doing it. I made sure that every time this countdown was about to hit like 2-1, I was nowhere near where I knew the spawns were. So you'll see me a lot of the time actually standing in front of the boss as they spawn. So now I'll move in front of him in a sec, or I'll stay here. No, see, I'll move in front of him because I know this is where they do not spawn. Or like positioning, because I'm basically looking at the boss position. So even though the tanks pulled them slightly this way, I knew they'd spawn there, so I move over here before they come in. We have I think we have like pre-assigned people like getting as close as possible before they spawn. So there is a way to not guess it if you're not confident, or you don't have a defensive, or there are just people that have done it more that are better at doing it. Because one mess up, it's over. Wipe. It's extremely punishing. So in terms of cooldowns, I have cooldowns coming up now, and I do send them. I wait for the swing to come in. I didn't get the mechanics. So once again, I've got 2 defensives in the bags now. So I was meant to send Fortifying Brew there. See that I don't send defensives willy-nilly. Even though I've got them in the bag, I hold them until I need them. Although they're assigned for these things, if I got a Starkiller Swing, for instance, because my position was bad, or I get the next one, I don't just send them out for fun. Like, it's quite important to have defensives up in case you get these mechanics, but also if you take a ton of damage, because damage can be quite dramatic here. So this was the best time to send cooldowns. Realistically, you get a lot of time of like just doing damage without worrying, and then it was a cross when you feel comfortable. So you can see some players cross then. I almost died because I overrolled. Was I comfortable? I was comfortable till I rolled inside that ring, but not punished. But you see what I mean? Like, some players crossed early, some crossed late. It's just when you felt like the best time to do it was for you. I felt like that was the best time for me, and it was. I just overrolled it, but I got back fast enough because I rolled early. And you can see my positioning. I'm just trying to stay away from these things because I know I don't want to be the person that messes those up because I've never practiced it. I've done it once. Let someone else who's done this 10, 15 times, you know what I mean. So there is ways to do it. When damage starts coming in, it's worth defensiving. Do I get the last swing here? I feel like I do get green. I remember getting green. Yeah, right. So this is what I mean, right? Like, even though I had these defensives saved up, in case I got this mechanic, I hold at least 1. So I probably could have sent one of the other 2, but there was no point in the fight at this point where I felt I'm in danger, I'm in trouble. Get to your marker as fast as fucking possible. Tightest squeeze I've ever done in my entire life. If one of us touched these, wipe. So, like, we... And then it's one person stands in the middle on the marker, the 2 other players just stand either side. They can be close, they can be a bit closer, but far doesn't matter, because these aren't the ones that you're hitting. As long as they're just, like, positioned far enough away that they're not overlapping, good times. And then defensive. You have to defensive it. It hits like a truck. And then just back on the boss, really. And then once again, It's so I know there's going to be no more circles coming in. All that's coming in now are breaks and lines. So it's just a move when you want. When do I feel confident moving? Now. When do I feel confident moving again? Now. And now I know that I'm safe. And now I make sure that I position myself to not get hit by the things because I know that I'm not confident in doing that at this point. And then it's just a send cooldowns on cooldown sort of thing. And the fight just kind of plays out like this. Now it's just a race against time. The boss enrages at like 8 minutes. So no more mechanics come in. As long as these players hit their star killer things, we win. Everybody holds a deep breath, you know? Are we going to hit him? Are we going to hit him? We hit him. This boss is dead. And then this is when I send out my last set of cooldowns, right? Like 10 seconds ago, because that's just when they come off of cooldown. So realistically, this is almost a pop cooldowns on cooldowns. There is like one delay, and it's just after the first Galactic Smash. That's the one time you delay your 1 minute 30s. Why does my YouTube keep freezing? We'll go back. Oh, that was the actual... Oh, yes. I was like, why did I freeze? It's because I actually froze at that point in time during playing the game. That was fun. And then the mechanic comes in and it's a race against time. This was quite a slow kill, actually. I guess we had a few players dead. But you can see even with like players dead, boss is 100% killable. So quite a lot to go through on Nexus King. Big Yap was procs.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Invoke Siwan, the White Tiger. Storm, Earth, and Fire.
Orb. 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 Orb.
Storm, Earth, and Fire.
Orb.
Invoke Siwan, the White Tiger.
Orb. Orb.
Touch of Karma.
Orb.
Fortifying Brew. Storm, Earth, and Fire.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Use Netherprism. Invoke Siwan, the White Tiger.
5, 4, 3,
Storm, Earth, and Fire. Leg sweep.
5,
Orb.
3, 2, 1.
Orb. Orb. Orb.
Use pot. Use Netherprism. Invoke Siwan, the White Tiger. Storm, Earth, and Fire.
Orb.
Personals. Touch of Karma.
Orb. Orb.
Diffuse Magic.
Orb. Orb. Orb.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Orb.
5, 4, 3, 2,
Orb.
1.
Fortifying Brew. Use Netherprism. Storm, Earth, and Fire. Invoke Siwan, the White Tiger.
Orb. Orb.
5, 4, 3, 2,
Orb.
Five, four, three, two, one.
Diffuse Magic.
Orb.
Use Netherprism. Storm, Earth, and Fire.
Orb.
2, 1. Five, four, three,
Orb.
2, 1.
Invoke Siwan, the White Tiger. Storm, Earth, and Fire.